have a serious question for you. If you had to answer what you thought the most important job for any human being on planet Earth to be, what would you answer? I have an answer for that. You may not agree with me, you may not believe what I say, you may not account it to be true. Nonetheless, I have an answer. And my answer is, it is the raising of children. Okay? This is a very important job. And I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people may count controversial, particularly in the modern day, but I'm going to say it anyway. One of the absolute most crucial, probably the most crucial people in that process are ladies. And that's what we're going to talk about today on Kurt's Religion and Politics the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host, I'm Kurt, and I'm glad to have you aboard today, whether it's on Rumble Podcast or the podcast or YouTube. Today is Wednesday the 17th. We're going to get this out of the way early on today. We didn't do it yesterday. Wednesday the 17th of March of 2021. And as I said, I'm glad to have you along with me today, and hopefully you'll sit and listen through my little piece today, which is entitled Crown Jewel. And I entitled it that on purpose, and I'm here to tell you that I'm talking about women. I'm talking about ladies. I'm talking about people who raise children. And look, I'm not sitting here trying to belittle or besmirch anybody who's raising a male raising a child alone. That's where I happen to be at this point, so I would be kind of doing so to myself if I were to do that. And I'm not trying to raise or put down anybody who decides that they can't raise children. And I'm not saying that absolutely every woman is an expert at raising children. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that the majority of women that end up being good at raising children didn't think they were going to be good at it. They didn't think it was something that they were going to be able to do. They learned how to do it as they went, just like almost everybody does with almost everything. And the ones who were really good at it learned how to do it well, right? But the thing is, there is, as a natural thing, whether you choose to accept it or not, a nurturing spirit that comes along with being female. And I'm not saying that every female possesses this to the same measure or degree. Some of them maybe not at all. But many ladies possess this nurturing, this parenting, this mothering instinct and spirit, which I think is probably, you could probably make an argument if you wanted to for the scientific nature of this as an instinctive sort of a thing. But I'm going to say it again. The crown jewel of almost any family where the mother is able to be there is that mother. And again, I recognize, you're raising children alone and you're a male. Well, that's how that is, and I'm not saying that's bad. I hope that you, bring some sort of female influence in on that, because I think that it's more than beneficial. I think that it's more or less essential for you to do that. The same thing if you're a lady, by the way, and raising children, particularly males. I think that you should have a male influence involved in that, even if you're doing that alone. But all of that said, to me, the crown jewel is females. Okay? Look, males cannot birth children. Okay? Biological males cannot give birth to children. They can't. Biological males, even if you state that some of them have the ability to suckle young, to breastfeed, okay, the majority of biological males do not have this ability. They don't. And again, there's a nurturing, mothering instinct, I guess you could call it. And I don't think it's not taught at all, but I don't think it's completely taught either. Okay? And I'm just here to tell you that I've already said basically, this is, to me, the most important thing you could possibly do. Because look, when you're in that old folks home, it's going to be your kids who are going to be looking out after you. And when there are people needed to do various jobs and to be responsible, sane, rational adults in the future, it's going to be your children that are going to do that. So raising children, to me, is the most important job this side of heaven, basically. There's no more important job that I can come up with. And so for me, nobody is more important on the planet, in my opinion, than mothers who look after children. So when you talk about a lady who stays home and looks after her children, if you think for a second that I'm going to deride that individual for that choice, you're totally confused. Am I saying that means every woman needs to stay home and mother their children? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that in some instances men don't do a better job than the ladies to whom they are betrothed or whatever at doing that job? No, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that in general, I believe that you will find women are the far superior choice when it comes to raising children. I'm not trying to somehow belittle women in saying that. How can I be doing that if, in my mind, the most important job that you can imagine on planet Earth is raising children? How on earth can I be belittling women by saying that those individuals are the best at doing it and really are the ones who ought to be intimately involved in that process? I can't see how you can look at me as belittling or reducing in some way women. Am I saying women can't do every bit as good a job in the workplace, various places, as men? No, I'm not saying that. In fact, what I'm saying is it's a sort of a double conundrum, because they can do that, but in my opinion, their more important job is raising children, not because, well, they're the woman and they should do that, but because they're really better at it for the most part. So for you to sit around and say, well, you're just trying to belittle women. No, I promise you, women do a job that is far superior to men, in my opinion, when it comes time to nurture and take care of children. They do a better job, and that's all there is to that for the most part. I'm not saying, well, there's no case where this is not true. I'm simply telling you that much of the time, it's the women that are doing the more successful, better job of raising children. And the result is, and again, does that mean men have no part? Absolutely not. They absolutely should have a part in the process, but their place is a different one. I don't know that I necessarily agree with the standards that existed 100 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever, with regard to what males and females should do in their role as parents. But I will say that I'm pretty darn sure that women are better at nurturing and taking care of children, particularly younger children, than men. Now, when boys get to be young men, then probably it's typically time for dad to take over. I'll just say that. Maybe with young women too, I don't know. I can't answer that. I think it's different. And I think it's different for young men too, but I think a lot of times it's true for young men. Maybe not as often true for young women, but I believe it's possible that that's true as well. But my point is to say that the crown jewel, the best and most important of parenting, in my opinion, for most families, is mom. Mom. That's the most important individual. That's the person that you have to consider as being the most significant and most important. So if you think that people like me are out there saying women belong in the home, which I'm not really saying, by the way, to begin with, but you need to understand what I'm actually saying is you've got this person who has a superiority in their ability to do this particular job, and I really, really think it's beneficial for them to do that job by and large. I'll put it that way, in the majority. Okay. So I think it's about time for me to call this video good. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Again, I'm not belittling or talking down to women at all. That's not at all true. I I hope you've enjoyed my video today. Thank you for watching to the end. Thanks again if you're on Rumble, on YouTube, or on the podcast. I'm going to talk tomorrow about a subject of biblical times. This is going to be another, what I think personally is an interesting video. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. Remember that you can like this video on YouTube or give me a positive rumble on Rumble if you choose to do that. You can also subscribe either place, but I've got that in my ending thing, so I won't talk too much about that. Hope your day is being a good one today, and hope that everything is going well for you. We're getting a little rain here, but overall it's actually a pretty nice day all told, and I hope that that's the way things are working for you as well, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Wednesday, the 17th of March of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.